It's the E-Commerce Minute, your daily dose of e-commerce, tech, and retail news with your hosts, Bart Mroz and John Suter. The E-Commerce Minute is a production of Sumo Heavy, a digital commerce consulting firm in Brooklyn, New York, and Philadelphia. Find us on the web at sumoheavy.com. It's the E-Commerce Minute, episode 220.
In today's episode, Amazon to discount retailers using Amazon Pay.
It sounds a little redundant, but it makes sense. Amazon's payment system has been struggling to gain large-scale adoption. So the e-commerce giant has decided to pass along the discounts that they get on credit card fees along to retailers if they agree to implement the payment service. And the folks at PayPal surely can't be too happy about that. The move once again shows that Amazon will sacrifice near-term profits to gain market share. Typical fees for credit cards are about 2% of the transaction, and debit fees are about 24 cents. But big retailers like Amazon and Walmart can negotiate lower fees just based on their enormous sales volume. That's what she said. Previously, merchants were charged 2.9% plus 30 cents each transaction. Those fees were divided up amongst Amazon, the credit card issuers, and the payment networks. As part of the test, it's willing to negotiate lower fees with merchants who agree to a long-term commitment to the service. Amazon Pay allows shoppers to log into their Amazon accounts from other websites, enabling them to complete the transaction using credit cards and delivery addresses already stored with Amazon, rather than having to enter them again. Most retailers would flinch at giving Amazon a cut of their transactions, but if it makes a customer's transaction easier, plus saves themselves a few bucks, it might be an option worth considering.
Well, that's like giving PayPal money. That's giving everybody money.
Yeah, you got everybody.
Welcome to credit card world. You know, it's like the easier, the less friction you get, the better, right?
You know what? Everyone goes, oh, you can't give Amazon money, but you know what? You leave money on the table for something stupid as this, then it's on you.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's like a lot of sites now, like with Apple Pay, Android Pay, right? Like, I get it, but it is easier to shop that way. Yeah. You don't have to fill stuff out. It's already done. Like, so the same thing with PayPal. You log in with PayPal, they get all your info, boom, done. Like, it's the frictionless stuff that, you know, Amazon is known for the one button thing.
Yep. No, I'm the same way. Like, I find myself, like, I buy a lot of design tools, like brushes and stuff. It's a lot of electronic stuff. And if I see the PayPal button, even if there's nothing in my account, I know it's linked to my bank account. I'm going to press that button quicker than I'm going to sit and fill out all that, you know. So yeah, swipe fees are big business. These jackals get $90 billion a year for swiping cards, like JP Morgan and Citigroup, Visa, MasterCard, First Data, Stripe. Everybody gets a cut. It's really the best business to be in.
Right. I mean, when you use a credit card, it doesn't just go through them. It goes through 5 different things.
Right.
Everybody gets a little piece of it because it's got to go through your merchant account. It's got to go through your bank. It's got to go through the technology that's providing it. Everybody gets a piece of it.
Right. The guy that owns the cable,
0.002, it still gets it.
Right. The guy that owns the cable where your data is being transmitted through, everybody gets a cut.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy.
So it's a little more complex than what you think it is.
So Amazon is able to export the rates it's negotiated with the banks and payment networks because, like PayPal, it's a so-called payments facilitator. So it aggregates merchants, and sometimes, you hear merchants complain that they're getting raked over the coals, but what's the alternative? You want somebody to stand there and write a check? As they say, you're going to leave money on the table.
This is part of business. Like,
yeah.
So you also look at it like, how many times you purchased a whole bunch of stuff, downloads and stuff like that, and apps from Apple, but didn't really get charged till you hit like $10.
Yeah, right.
Because that's what they do. They actually aggregate it and wait for you because it's cheaper for them to do that. So you have to, it's funny how, like you have to watch every piece of it.
Yeah. And you had said earlier about the frictionless transaction. I think people are starting to get used to the single button. PayPal was an example. Amazon has the one click. There's a statement here. Visa CEO Al Kelly said there's way too much clutter in the e-commerce checkout environment, and it's just not good for users and not good for merchants. Well said. So the future is, a single button. Now, whether your checkout has 3 buttons or 4 buttons, but if it's just a single button and the customer can choose which way they want to pay with the least amount of friction, it's a winner all around. Might be not as pretty UI speaking, but the goal here is to get the money out of the customer's pocket. So the easiest way you can do that is that's how you do it.
That's right.
All right. Anything else
for today? No.
All right, sir. That's your e-commerce minute for today. We'll see you on the internet tomorrow. That's it for today's show. If you like the show, do us a favor and subscribe or leave us a review on iTunes. And don't forget, you can now listen to the e-commerce minute on your Amazon device. Just add e-commerce minute to your flash briefing. And finally, if you have a comment or suggestion or just want to say hi, find us on social media @Sumo Heavy.